What's up, guys? So this is you're seeing a third lifting video this week, and the reason for that is because I was gonna shoot another advice video or a Q&A, I think it was, but I ran out of time. If you didn't know, my sister is gonna be in it's like a pageant pretty much this weekend, where I get to drive in a parade and stuff like that. So Sunday is gonna be super busy. And next week is my sister's birthday, and then she's going to college. And I'm going to throw in some blogs too. I'll probably blog one of those days that we're moving her into college just to kind of show that. But I was going to blog the whole pageant thing, but then I figured I was going to be so busy that I'd have to remember to take a camera around with me, and it was like added extra stress that I didn't want. So any YouTuber knows what I'm talking about. You know, some events you just want to enjoy and not have to film. Instead of you're seeing one of those type of videos, you're going to see just another lifting video tonight. Tonight's going to be a lower day. It's Friday, just got out of work, week's over, feeling good. Lower day tonight. We got 5 sets of 7 on squats. And if you didn't watch my other videos, I recommend you go watch the last 2 because they explain my programming a little bit more about how I drop my volume from super, probably like in the 30 rep range for strength moves to like more of a 25 rep range, meaning in sets. So say like if I had 7 sets of 5 before, it'd be dropped down to 5 sets of 5 and so on. And I'll talk more about that in another video, like I keep saying I will. But tonight we got 5 sets of 7 on squats, and that's my hypertrophy work. So that'll be with about 70-75%. So I'm not quite sure what I'll use yet. We'll see what I feel like using and what feels good tonight. I'm going to kind of go back to rate RPE scale. Not the whole testing, not the whole testing method of RPE scale, but the method of going about how you feel for the day. I had some pretty good workouts back in the day when I was just doing that. So I'm going to go back to that for a while. So instead of saying I have to do this percentage for on this day, which is not the case. You don't have to follow anything. I recommend always listening to your body, but don't be a pansy either and go easy just because you don't feel like lifting heavy weights. That's not what the RPE scale is made for. It's made for just being smart, not having to grind through days where you feel not like pushing hardest, which I feel pretty good tonight. So I actually might go for some crazy weights tonight. And then on deadlifts, I got a 5x5 that I'm super excited about. I haven't had a 5x5 on deadlifts in forever. And I'm excited to get back to using 5x5s in my program again, because last summer I got up to where I was doing a 5x5 with 245 pounds, and I topped out there. I never got past that for a 5x5. So who knows what I'll use tonight. My deadlifts have felt good. On my last deadlift session, it went amazing. So this should be pretty good. I'm pretty excited to see what I get up to. So enough with the ranting. Let's get to the workout. Getting it warmed up. Squats and deads today. Feel pretty good. I took yesterday as an off day. I had some stuff to do to help Taylor and my sister get ready for this pageant. Feel full too, so should be a good routine. I tried something new for a warm-up tonight. Once I got to 135, I did 4 sets of 3. In each set, I tried to move the weight faster and faster until my last set, 4, not 3. My last set was super powerful. I felt everything feel tight and ready to go. So now I can progress on to like 155 and on to my working sets. Hey guys, back for another commentary. I always enter my commentary saying that. Anyway, you're going to see another squat and deadlift workout today. I'm going to be jumping in and out again, so it's going to be kind of hard to commentate this, but we'll give it a go. So, squats and deadlifts. Damn, I feel fast tonight. Let's do this. Alright, I know what you're thinking. 165? You did that for 9 reps last week. Or maybe it was 160. And this is only 7 reps. Why would you not do a little more weight? The reason is because tonight I really want to work on not grinding out the reps. You know, I want to save the grinding, maybe, the grinder reps for deadlifts, because this is my heavy deadlift night. My squats are not supposed to be so draining tonight. And you notice I always do squats first. That's because I've tried the deadlifts first. Even on a strength day, my squats then suck. And I'm always trying to get better at the squat, because the squat is something I've always struggled with, especially with my hips. The deadlift, I've really always had a pretty good deadlift. Maybe not the strongest, but a pretty good form-wise. So for me, I prioritize squats. Yep, prioritize squats, and that's what it is. So 165 for 5 sets of 7 reps for hypertrophy work tonight. Rep work, whatever you want to call it. And it was pretty good. It was interesting because my warm-ups felt great. I felt awesome during my warm-ups. Going into my first working set, I did my first rep there, and you see me shuffling my feet. My hips felt off, and they felt off this whole squat routine. And that's just something I've noticed that kicks on like every now and then. Sometimes I'll go to squat and my hips will feel perfect, and other times my hips will feel like death. And it's hard to explain what I mean by that if you never had hip drop problems. But what I mean is one of my hips is actually longer than the other. Just a second. All right, back to this. I don't know why I put that in there. But anyway, my hips. One of my hips is actually, my left hip is actually longer than my right one. My left leg is actually longer than my right leg. That's what I mean to say. But my hip, that's all conjoined. So that little move, that little problem, that my right is longer than my left, or I forget what I said. One of them is longer than the other one. And what happens is one leg shuffles out to the side and the other feels better pointed at another way. So I found that if I look at my feet, it messes me all up. So I try to avoid looking at my feet at all possible while I squat, and try to just go by how I feel, because otherwise I just end up shuffling my feet the whole workout. Last set. These were a lot harder than what I thought they were going to be. Something I want to cover real quick to get more rest. Wrist. A lot of people complain of wrist issues. I'm using just some Walmart wrist wraps. I'm going to invest in some slingshot ones soon, some gangster wraps, or some multi-purpose probably. I'm not sure yet. But right now I'm using these. And another trick for people with wrist pain, stretch your wrist out before going under the bar. This one is one of my favorites. This is also one of my favorites, and this is one of my favorites. That should relieve tension on the muscle on your forearm, allow you to put more pressure on that without getting so much pain. Yeah, wrist problem is something I really struggle with tonight. For some reason, my wrists were giving me all types of pain. And that's another thing that sometimes happens that sometimes doesn't. And that sometimes, gives me a good squat workout or a bad squat workout. Tonight, my wrist just killed. I did all sorts of wrist stretches, and I don't know if it was because I hit shoulders tough the other day or what. I don't know. It could just be one of those weird nights. If you work at a computer all day, you know exactly what I mean. You build up, you type all day and stuff. You build up just like a carpal tunnel, and your wrist is just weak to begin with. So I wrap my wrist pretty tight, and I need to get some multi-purpose wraps. I think it will help a ton, because these Walmart ones just are not doing it anymore. I just got to suck it up and invest in them, because I think they'll really help me out. squats done. All right, squats went good. They could have gone better. They're pretty draining though. Good to have candy around. So tonight we got deadlifts, and we are gonna, I don't know yet. I don't know what we're gonna play around with. I would like to hit 245 for 5x5. I haven't done that, I think, in like 5 months. That'd be pretty good. I'm gonna eat some more candy, and then we'll get to it. Thank goodness for candy, seriously. Tonight was another one of those nights where I just was drained going into deadlifts, and I was like, you know, just eat some candy. I'll feel a lot better, and I'm glad I did, because I killed this workout. Literally, tonight was just an awesome deadlift session. I am coming back, because my last deadlift session also was good, and it's just feeling good. All right, 225 went awesome. So I'm jumping it to 245. Might be a little bit of a jump, but we're gonna get right into the working sets. Feel really good tonight. Just plain feel good. Let's do it. How many times do I say just do it in a workout? We should count that sometime. Seriously though, how many times do I say just do it? I don't know why. It seems like I always just end my lines with, let's just do it. I guess I kind of live by that montage. Anyway though, deadlifts again. I mean, 245, 5x5, and you'll see something special on the last set that I was not prepared, well, that I didn't plan, but it just happened. But it went awesome. Literally everything from on my form felt great tonight. My hips, while they were messed up during my squats, they felt okay during my deadlifts. Maybe not 100%, but pretty damn close to 100% actually. Maybe it was just because I had that, you know, good sugar rush from the candy that I just felt awesome. Maybe my squats would have went better if I would have ate some candy. But all in all, very happy with my deadlift progress. I'm hitting this weight again that I haven't hit for like 5 months for 5 reps. I haven't dabbled with this for this rep range for a while. So my program, it's working. I'm real happy with how tonight felt. Real happy with the volume too. It allowed me to have some accessory work too planned. That was good. 2 sets are done. 3 to go. It's feeling good. Something that people a lot of times ask me is, where do I personally put my feet on the bar? This is what I do. I walk up, I center myself right here, and then I find my center with my feet. So right about where that ring is, where my foot will go, and the angle of my knee will be dependent on, that'll be dependent on everybody, but about right there, and about right there. So, and I like to slide in a little bit, so a little bit wider than shoulder width. So it's kind of a half sumo and half conventional, kind of like an Ed Cohen deadlift. He was a fan of doing narrower stance. You see some people go way out here. That's, for me, I don't have a lot of power at that. So if you don't have a lot of power sumo, try scooting your feet in some. And I grip right where the knurling starts. And I use a hook grip. The famous hook grip with my hook and my anchor. I don't know what that was. Pirate accent. Anyway though, like I said, my setup, there we go. I get, you know, some emails about my setup on deadlifts and how I go about it. And in my older videos, I kind of go through my walkthrough too about how I do it. But that was just a quick, you know, where I put my legs at, my feet, so my ankles are lined up with my knees and not, you know, over them or anything weird like that. But this is, I think, the 4th set, and we're coming up on the last set, and you're going to see something crazy that just, it was awesome. It just hit me like on the 5th rep, and I was like, I'm going to go for it. So you're going to see on this next set that I did an AMRAP. And you're thinking, what's the big deal, Sean, AMRAP? Well, if you notice, you know, I haven't been doing AMRAPs at all lately, and I actually haven't been doing them for several months now. The reason for that was because I found that anytime I did AMRAPs, it took me like 3 days to recover from it. And by doing that, it drained my next workouts for those next 3 days, put me in a bad mood, and then the cycle continued. And then it took me 3 days to get back into the groove of working out. So literally it was a 6-day drain back. So I did 8 reps tonight, conservative AMRAP. I could have done more, but I just called it quits at that because I've got to train early tomorrow. And I didn't want to be wiped. But yeah, AMRAPs can be useful at times when you feel like doing them. Tonight was one of those nights. What was that? An AMRAP? I got to 5 reps. I felt good. I said, hell with it. We're doing an AMRAP. I haven't done AMRAPs. I took AMRAPs out of my program because they were killing me. They were literally right there, you can see. I was doing them weekly. And I was doing one for upper body weekly, one for lower body. And honestly, I didn't think it was that bad. But I look back at my progress. I made more progress when I didn't do AMRAPs. But I just felt like doing an AMRAP tonight. Sometimes you have to listen to your body. And sometimes, that's quitting. Not quitting, but stopping, when the time is right. And also, when you feel you can go past it, don't be afraid to push it a little bit. Sometimes those little extra sets like that can just build character. 245 by 8. Not a PR, but not bad. Not bad at all, considering, not bad. So finished off with just some side laterals, just some accessory work because I'm going to hit chest and arms tomorrow. I'm going to be taking off a lot of days this next week, taking Taylor to college and everything, so I just wanted to kind of hit total body a lot this week, so next week probably will be all screwed up. How am I going to get to film? I have no idea, but enjoy the rest of the video, guys. It's a longer video, but hope you enjoy. Post-workout time, got my whey protein. I have a little bit of simple carbs in here. I know I had some during the workout too, but I'm going to be training probably fasted tomorrow morning because I'm just going to get up and get a workout in real quick, just a simple chest and arms workout, and then head over to the families to get ready for just probably spend the whole weekend with them since Taylor goes to college on Tuesday, so I just want to spend the weekend with them, just a ton of family time. And so I got a little bit of simple carbs in here to help recover so I can train early better. And people will say you don't recover faster with simple carbs. I'm going to disagree. Just from anecdotal evidence from me, maybe some people don't need them, but for me, if I'm going to if I train like tonight, hit deadlifts, squats, some back and some shoulders, and then I'm going to train fasted tomorrow morning, my body's not going to recover as fast if I don't have a simple carb in there. A simple carb will help you recover fast. Now, do you need to take simple carbs after workout? No, you don't. But if you're going to be training soon afterwards, so literally in about 18 hours, I'll be hitting another workout. So therefore, I'm going to want some simple carbs to help the recovery process. So having some whey protein, simple carbs, just some dextrose, and creatine, glutamine, and some sea salt and some cinnamon. And that's that, and we're going to make some dinner. Probably some lean cuisine pizzas because it's simple, and I got a lot of work to do tonight. So yeah, something else I want to talk about real quick is simple sugars, or just sugar. People always say, stay away from sugar and stuff. And if you know me, I'm a fan of flexible dieting if it fits your macros. I don't count sugar. I make sure to hit my fiber during the day, and I eat what I want. I hit my macros within what I want. A lot of that's healthy, so-called healthy food, and because I enjoy healthy food. But I also do enjoy, candy and stuff to help me through my workouts. Don't be afraid of carbs, guys. Simple sugars, my gosh, I remember the days when I would go fasted training, and I wondered why I never made progress. You could look back at my old videos. There was times where I never made any progress. I never made any size gains, any strength gains. I was training fasted all the time, and I was avoiding simple sugars like it was a plague. Like it was, if you eat sugar, you're gonna get fat or have a heart attack, or it's just bad for you. That's what I thought it was. And literally within, this last 2 years, 2 to 3 years actually now, I've changed my mindset, powerlifting and just flexible dieting. And seriously, these are the best gains I've ever had in my life. This is the best I've ever felt. This is the best I've ever recovered. Guys, don't be afraid of sugar. It can help so much. Just give it a try. Make sure you get your veggies in, your fruits in, your fiber. Shoot for 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. And enjoy some simple sugars. Enjoy some candy, during a workout, or enjoy a cookie before a workout, or enjoy a donut. Don't be so strict. Have some, just enjoy some good food and train hard. It's, that's what you don't train to eat, but you train to have a good life. So enjoy some food. All right, so the next question I'm sure I'm going to get is, Sean, all this candy is going to give me cavities. I got you covered. So I'm a huge fan of Listerine. I have used Listerine anti-cavity whitening mouthwash for a long time, and it's a fluoride pretty much. And people, there are some people against fluorides and stuff. I've never been against fluorides. I've been a fan of fluorides, and I have clean teeth. I've always had real clean teeth. My dentist always compliments me on my teeth. And this is another one I usually buy. I usually buy this one, but this one was out last time, so I had to settle for the next thing, the best I could find. So I found this. But chances are I will go back to this one. So if you're going to pick one or the other, I'd recommend the 6 Benefits of 1 Plus Whitening Anti-Cavity Mouthwash. So just a little teeth cleaning whitening tip there for you. 9:30, and I'm just now getting dinner. Keeping it real simple tonight. Got the lean cuisine chicken pizza, topped with a little bit of sriracha. And we got our salad with ground beef, whole eggs, some turkey, mustard salsa, Greek yogurt, and did I say cheese? Yeah, cheese is in there. So that's dinner, and that's gonna wrap up this video. So give this video a like. Let me know if you like these videos, want them to keep coming, and we will see you on Monday for the next episode of Inspiration.